I love what you do and helping authors have.
If you don't have the right mindset, then that's a limit.
Racism isn't something we're born with.
I'm great, Doug. I'm so excited to be here.
Welcome to another episode of Cocktails and Conversations, the only show where we have a cocktail and we don't get drunk on air, but we do have fun, especially when we talk about three of my favorite topics, which would be, sex, politics, and religion. Maybe four topics of, relationships or marketing, something like that. But I've got a great guest on today who is actually an expert at one very important thing that nobody does anymore, unfortunately, and that's asking powerful questions. When was the last time you had a question asked you that made you actually think versus just execute your own confirmation bias or make you mad or happy? That's boring. I like questions that make you think and use that old critical thinking skill. And our guest today is an expert at this. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Joana Lopez. Joana, how are you today?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm doing great.
Great. And are you enjoying your cocktail today for Cocktails and Conversations?
I'm
baby.
enjoying my cocktail. Cheers to you.
Cheers. All right. So your business is a very interesting one. It's for business owners, entrepreneurs, on how to get over their breakups. Is that right?
Yeah, it is correct. We do divorce and breakup recovery.
Whoa. Wow. Because I know that sounds like a heavy topic. Is most people, it takes them a long time to get over that stuff, I guess, right?
You know what? It is actually true. Like some people, it takes weeks, months, and sometimes even years before they can actually get over a person. And it's kind of sad because a lot of people don't even know the reason why they are stuck in this person, and it could have taken way less.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What's your background in this? How did you get this business, and what's your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a background in neuroscience and clinical hypnosis, and I was actually a life and business coach before.
Yeah.
But obviously, everything goes back to my own personal story, which I'm not going to go in very deep.
Oh no, you're going to finish our cocktail. I'm going to get all the dirt on you. Yeah.
Right, but basically, yeah, it goes back to my own personal story. Like I was probably, I've been in personal development for about probably over 10 years, and do not ask my age, but then
how old are you?
Come on,
you
listen.
You know neuroscience. You know when you say something like that, don't ask my age. Like all I hear is ask my age. I didn't hear the do not. So.
I know. I'm kind of joking,
So
but basically, what happens is that I was already a life and business coach, and I went through my own personal traumatic. Oh my God! Sorry for my dog.
Yeah, bring the puppy on there. That's great.
Electro.
Electro. What's the name? Electro. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds powerful name. All right.
So basically what I was saying is that I was going through already like personal development and things like that, and I had my own personal traumatic separation.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because even though with all the knowledge that I had, like understanding in the personal development aspects of it, it was very hard to get over it.
Mm-hmm.
And, so as the curious person that I am, I went into a search of what happens in the brain when people are going through a separation. Like I got basically obsessed with the topic. And what I noticed and what I realized is that there is a huge niche and need for people.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a year to actually get over this relationship. And when I tapped into certain things that I discovered, that I put together, I was able to get back on my feet in a very short period of time. And that went by me going through my own history, through my own experience with my parents not being together, and et cetera. And I went into this obsessive desire of understanding even more and taking courses, understanding the psychology aspect of it. And I have interviewed like probably hundreds of people doing assessments and understanding about these topics. But basically, everything started from having a broken heart as well.
Oh, well, you don't seem very broken right now. That's good news. So I know you're in a very stable, happy relationship. So guys watching this, just back off. So I'm really curious about one thing though. When you mentioned about the people take a year or longer sometimes to get over these things, and you figured out a way through what I found out when we spoke last time, through some very specific and directed questions and not letting people get off on a tangent, right? But focusing on a very specific line of questioning, you're able to take that typical trauma time of a breakup and compress it or melt away like huge months of time. I mean, get it down to 10 days, 2 weeks or something like that. That's right? I mean,
yeah, that's correct. Well, thinking in the reason, and I think you're going to love this,
okay.
and the listeners as well, because here's the thing. The first step of healing is awareness. Whatever you are aware of, you are in charge. Whatever you are not aware of is in charge of you. The moment you know where things are coming from, in that moment, you are ready to do something about it. But if you don't even know where your pain is coming from, how are you going to even heal it? So one of my expertise and my goal when I do my assessments and work with people is actually pointed out the real root cause of the problem. Because when people comes with a problem, the problem is just a layer of a layer of a layer of a layer. It's never really the problem. People might come, I don't know, my husband cheated on me and I'm completely destroyed. I never really target that. I go way deeper. Where is this from? And I think that one of the number one mistakes that happens when people are dealing with their feelings is they are targeting the wrong issue, targeting the superficial issue, which is not really the problem. Like, the source of our pain goes beyond your ex, right? Basically.
Yeah, very good. Now, one of the things I know you're going to talk about towards the end of our show today is an actual complementary assessment, because you're looking to do some advanced research on your topic. So guys, if this is of interest to you or someone you loved or someone you don't love anymore or whatever the case is, there's an opportunity for you to talk with Joana for a limited number of people, and she'll give us that detail at the end of our conversation today. So that's great. All right. So we've got some lines of question. Can you give us an example of what you do here? Not the whole thing, but just a little sample.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, and I want to really, really share this because we have the conscious mind, and then we have the unconscious mind.
Right.
And you guys probably have heard this before, that we only use 10% of our brain, and that's the conscious mind. And in simple way to explain this, the conscious mind is the part of us that makes you think, analyze, rationalize, making sense, using logic. That's the conscious mind. And the unconscious mind is the part of you that you're not even conscious of it. Like your body on the chair right now, like you breathing in and breathing out, like you driving without even thinking. That's the unconscious mind. And then in the middle, right in the middle, we have a thing called the critical faculty. And the critical faculty usually shuts down around the age of 7.
Wow.
So this is important to know, and I promise you guys, I am getting to a point, and it's going to make sense in very soon. So now, we have the critical faculty. The other aspect of this and understanding all of this is that we receive 2 million bits of information per second. Million bits of information.
Wow.
And the conscious mind is only able to handle, are you ready for this?
I'm ready. Go ahead.
124 of the 2 million bits of information.
Not 125, 124 of these.
124. And what that means is that a lot of information gets stored in your memory, gets deleted, erased, and just stored away. So a lot of information doesn't even cross the conscious mind. So a lot of the things that you are observing, you are not even aware, but your unconscious mind is.
Wow.
So now with that information and understanding that part, let's go back to how this works. So when we are little kids or when we are growing up, we are surrounded by adults and people, and everything that we know about women, men, relationships, etc., we basically create a set of patterns and blocks and understanding about how life works. So we create like a blueprint in our brain unconsciously of how things work, because we learn around the people that raised us, or the people that were important in our life. When we grow older, whatever it is that we learn, whatever happens when we were younger, we will recreate whatever scenarios we had in adulthood life. Because whatever it is, like for example, if someone was like had a husband that had a parent that was always cheating and their partner, or someone who was violent, or someone who was an alcoholic. And this is a very common sense. Like
Right.
you are going to recreate the same thing now as an adult. Why? Because that represents home. As messed up as it sounds, it does represent home for the brain. And the brain is, in science, we call it, the brain is looking for resolution. So it's going to recreate that scenario. And sometimes it's not as obvious as it might seem, like, okay, your dad was an alcoholic, now you're dating this man that is an alcoholic.
Yeah.
It actually goes deeper than that. There are a lot of hiding blocks that happens when you were a kid that you don't even realize it, because, again, if you remember what I said a minute ago, the unconscious mind receives 2 million bits of information, and the conscious only capture 124. So a lot of information that happened when a kid until now were completely deleted from your mind and from your memory, and were just stored away, but they still there.
Wow.
So there is a lot of information that you missed out, basically. So a lot of blocks are obvious, and a lot of the blocks are not. So, but we do always recreate the same scenario now as adults, because that represents home. And it might say, someone might say, well, okay, I get it. So what do I do now? The thing with the unconscious blocks is that you can understand something in the logical, with your logical mind. Like you can understand something like this, that this is not healthy for me, this is not good for me. But unless the shift happens in the unconscious level, your neurons will keep asking for the same thing.
Right. It wants resolution, the mind. That's why questions are so powerful, which is why I'm impressed when we first spoke, because you asked directed, focused questions that made the mind go, well, you better answer that, right? We can't not answer a question. We got to resolve things, right? Oh my gosh, that's powerful stuff. All right. What's some of the biggest challenges? I'm going to guess on one. Don't tell me if I'm right or go off on your own. But entrepreneurs and business people are typically resilient, starters, action takers. They're bold, they're fearless. And when they go through the trauma of a breakup or divorce, they tend to think or say they can compartmentalize that. Oh, my personal life is shit, but I'm going to go ahead and focus on my business because that's where I'm good at, and gung-ho. But it's not so simple, is it? Yeah, I didn't think so.
Simple, because a lot of people try to do that, and some people thrive on that. Some people are able to pass by temporarily, but when they have a moment of weakness, all of those things that they have repressed, it will come out again. Because human beings, we don't like pain, so we do two things. We either put a bandage and pretend I'm good, I'm fine, I'm just gonna go with my business and focus here. I don't care. They don't want me. I don't want them. I'm fine. But that doesn't really solve the problem. That doesn't really heal the wound. You just basically put it in the closet, and it's not gonna be. You're not gonna open, or you're gonna forget about it.
Yeah.
But as soon as the moment you have even a moment of weakness, that will come, and it will come even way stronger. And the other part of it is that, because we don't know what we don't know. People don't know what they don't know. Yeah. That human beings do is that they jump on another relationship just to stop from the pain.
Right.
But the thing that also doesn't solve the problem. You might have temporary relief because you're no longer suffering from that breakup.
Right.
But it doesn't solve the problem because you bring yourself with you everywhere you go. So you bring yourself into the new relationship with everything you have.
Bring all your crap with you. This is why second marriages have a higher failure rate than first ones, right? People don't fix their crap, right?
Because you project all the wounds that you never took the time to heal and the other person, and again and again. And this is because, believe it or not, your brain is giving you the opportunity, and it's gonna push you louder. Like if you didn't get it with the first relationship that this was an issue and you had to heal something from the past, the next relationship is going to be even more obvious. Like your brain is going to send you the signs like even bigger, so to see if you get it. And if you go again to another one, you're going to get it bigger, and then you will be, what's wrong? Why do I always try the same type of woman? Why do I always
That's right. That's right. Why do you keep dating your mother? What's your problem?
Can you see that is the brain like telling you, kind of like snapping you? You have to do something about it because we are not going to stop. Like we want resolution. Wow. So it's gonna hit you in your face until you actually able to acknowledge it. And
without revealing a name, I want to hear a really good story of somebody you've helped out. No names, because that's personal information, but give me a story of somebody who's had some major crap in their life, and they were going through it for a long period of time, and you walked in and just did your questioning, and the stars shined and rainbows came out.
Well, I had many stories that have been very beautiful and transformational. There is one that I love. There is this woman that was married for 15 years, and she was married for 15 years with someone who was very toxic, and she had an affair, and that was very out of her character. She was completely out of her character, and she was dealing with a lot of shame and guilt, and that went into a divorce. They have 2 kids, and they got divorced, and she got divorced, and it's been, I think it was a year after she got divorced, and she still couldn't deal with the emotions and the pain and the guilt and all of the emotions that she destroyed the marriage, even though she was unhappy. And how did she even cheated on her husband and things like that. And she thought the problem was basically the guilt and all of that. She knew she didn't want to be with that person, but the pain, that pain was still there. She didn't know why. Yeah. So when she and I worked together and start talking about going deeper about her story, what we found out was her mom actually had an affair, and that affair had caused her to get very sick, and she passed away. So that was carry on her because. Believe it or not, unconsciously, by her committing the affair, was actually getting closer to her mom.
That's like epigenetics, sort of a line for epigenetics, right? Where you could actually take on the DNA of something like that, right?
And it's not only the DNA; it's more on the unconscious, the unconscious level. Because she didn't know what she was doing, but also it plays a lot of other parts of it, where basically. That was an escape for her. That was an escape out of this marriage. Now she's able to see, now she's happy, she's in another relationship, and she's able to have a beautiful relationship with her kids, because that was hard for her, because she was the one who...
Yeah. Uh-oh. Froze.
Because... Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, it just froze for a second. Keep going. You're on. You're on.
So basically, she was able to forgive herself and forgive her mom because she had some unfinished business with that situation. Right. It wasn't so much the forgiveness about herself. The moment she was able to make peace with her mom, because her mom was no longer in this planet, she passed away when she was younger, she was able to actually let all of these chains of events that happened and really forgive herself for everything. Because after all, that affair, it wasn't.
This froze again. Here we go. It's okay. I'm gonna just pause this for a second. All right. Yeah. All right. Continue on. Go ahead.
So basically, so that's what ended up happening. She was able by knowing where this was coming from and actually healing the real wound that she was carrying on. She was able to let go years of grief that she had carry on, and also the guilt that she had put on herself, because believe it or not, she was becoming her mom, and she was afraid of becoming that. And all of this, and that was what was leading her to a path that she didn't want to go.
Wow,
but there are a lot of aspects of it in here. But my point and the beauty of all of this is the moment she was able to know what was the root cause of the problem and actually targeting that, she was able to be free. And honestly, all of this, the chains of events start falling on the right place.
Yeah.
And that's part of the work that we do here.
Nice. When you listen to people talk about what they've gone through, there's obviously some things they've tried to do, right? They've tried this, they tried that. Is there any examples that you could share that people have tried things that just don't work, just to help people prevent them from making the mistakes?
Well, things that don't work.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Though, with everything that happens, I mean, again, people don't know what they don't know.
Right.
So one thing that I think will be helpful for the listeners to know and to actually decide and have a better understanding of where they are and where they stand is that when you're going through the emotional pain of a separation, so we have a part in our brain called the amygdala, and the amygdala is responsible for the fight and flight mechanism, and the amygdala is there for protection, for survival mechanisms. So when the amygdala feels threatened, it's going to release a lot of chemicals. And the brain, that part of the brain feels threatened when a big change is about to happen.
Oh, right.
So when a big change like a divorce or a breakup for years happens, or even if it's not for years, the brain freaks out completely. So it starts releasing a lot of chemicals because what it does is it wants to do whatever it takes to keep things the same. And in that moment, the brain, the amygdala, not only releases a lot of chemicals, but it puts your ex on a completely pedestal right here. It basically forgets all the reasons why you weren't happy in that relationship. It makes you forget why you didn't want to be with that person in the first place, like that you were also unhappy there. Yeah. And it puts you on a pedestal. So, and again, the brain is doing that to protect you. And then you might think like, okay, give me a break. You are not really protecting me. But it's because change represents danger. And represents danger, and it will do whatever it takes to keep things the same. So now, that being said, when that happens, when that happens, you're experiencing a lot of psychological reactions. The brain is releasing chemicals. In that moment, the brain goes to a really crazy state where it seems that the only way the pain can stop is if you have a conversation with your ex, if you can have some kind of connection, whether a text message, a call, something. And that's when people start doing all kind of crazy stuff.
That's right. The desperate maneuver, sending flowers or texting incessantly when they don't want to talk to you. Yeah, it's sad, but...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's when people start making that mistake, and that's why I'm sharing this.
Right.
Like, start doing all this kind of crazy stuff. It is because the brain is tricking you. So how this information is serving you? Well, first of all, again, awareness is the first step of healing. Whatever you're aware, you are in charge. So now, when that happens, I want you to stop for a moment and notice that what you're experiencing is not only the love that you think you have for your ex. Yes, it might be part of it. But what you're actually experiencing is the brain freaking out and releasing a lot of chemicals. So you are experiencing a psychological reaction right there. So I want you to know and be aware that what you're experiencing is beyond the love that you think that you have for your ex. You're making a mistake. It's not that maybe they are the one and you are making the worst mistake of your life. It is your brain freaking out. And I think by understanding that, you are going to be able to basically have a different perception of the things and act in a different way, or choose with the knowledge now.
Right.
What to do. It's not that easy to actually just decide it, because again, the shift needs to happen on the unconscious, but there are tools, resources that will help you to do that. And the first step is awareness and being willing to actually want to heal.
I think this is a great transition to the wonderful gift you have offered the listeners and viewers today. And that is, guys, this woman has got such great knowledge and, most importantly, practical, tactical advice on healing quickly. And she's offering a very limited number of people a chance to talk with her privately, discreetly, by going to her website, which is joanalopez.com. Just hit the contact button. So spell Joana. There's a couple ways to spell Joana. Let's go ahead and spell it for us.
It's spelled Joana, so one N, and Lopez, Lopez.
Now you're a neuroscientist. Why'd you look up at the air to spell your name? Joa. Huh? Why do we do that? There is a spelling up there, right? JoanaLopez.com / that's right. And click the contact button. And the first very few people can have a conversation with her, and you'll be part of her additional research, completely anonymous. But I guarantee you, you're going to come away from that conversation feeling, acting, and living better. That's my guarantee.
I'd like to add on that, if that's okay. I would
sure.
love to add, for those people that go through those assessments, I want to honor you as well and give you a free hypnosis to get over the relationship. And again, these assessments are only for people that are going through the divorce and the breakup, the emotional pain of a breakup.
Got it, right.
So, and it's for a small amount of people.
Yeah, you only have so much time, I know. Okay. Joana, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I appreciate you so much. I'd love to have you back again. I know we talked before about actually doing a hot seat conversation, maybe with a couple or one person, to maybe take a full hour and go through that line of spectacular, insightful questioning that I know you do to help people resolve their issues and lead a better life. So thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you for being on the show today, folks. Joana Lopez, JoanaLopez.com, and then hit the contact button there and get on our calendar. Thank you.